Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Divine Eye Mystic Tarot, back with another general reading. This reading is for air signs. I'm doing a general love reading just to pull a few cards to see what would come out. All right, see what the message would be. This message for air signs, it may not be for everybody that's an air sign. If you're a cross watcher for an air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, low vibrational, high vibrational. Okay. Um, this could be something that may be significant to one particular person, so only take it how it resonates. All right. But I'm gonna go over the cards with you to give you a spiel on what came out. But like I said, it's a general love reading for my air signs. All right. But the first cards that came out was I feel lonely. Someone feels lonely. The clarification card that came out for that was people don't believe in me. They don't feel like anybody believes in them, whether this is you or whether this is them or somebody that, whoever that person is of interest when it comes to love, only you know who that is. Whoever that is that comes to mind for you, they may be an air sign as well. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, so take it how it resonates. But to clarify, I got the Four of Cups and the Three of Swords. Somebody could be 43, 37, 34. Could be of significance as well. But it's like someone, may have felt like, whatever it was that they dealing with is some type of depression. And it could deal with, a breakup. It could be, over some fear, some heartbreak, a separation. You know what I'm saying? And it could also, like I said, have a lot to do with this person's thought process when it comes to their emotions. And they may feel like they let a lot of people down. They may feel like, they getting things wrong a lot of times, in connections. Or when it comes to them trying to express their emotions, or the fact that their emotions are all over the place or affected in some way, probably from past connections with this Three of Swords. All right, Libra energy. You got Cancer out here with the with the Four of Cups. So you could be dealing with a Cancer. Well, my air signs are, this person could be a Cancer that is dealing with some type of depression right now, some anxiety. They could also be dealing with like a missed opportunity because of some things that, may have got in the way or complicated the connection between you and them. All right. But they feel lonely now. Could be a Cancer, dealing with an air sign. The next card that came out, why can't I tell you the truth? That's not the only card that came out, because the first two cards here is past situations. This lineup right here is current. Okay, this right here is moving forward. Okay, but we dealing with the here and now, right now. All right. So this person is battling with why they can't tell you the truth. Why can't I tell you the truth? All right. Clarified by I can't promise you anything. Why can't they tell you the truth? They can't promise you anything either. That's one of the things that they, can't tell you the truth about, is I can't promise you that, some of the things that you deserve, I'm going to be able to deliver on. Okay? Take it how it resonates. Why can't they, what I'm saying, come clean with you, tell you the truth? You know what I'm saying? I can't promise you anything. And I'm blocked. You know what I'm saying? I'm blocked. So whether they blocked Eight of Swords, or they blocked, by the universe, your ancestors, when it comes to them, having this issue in the connection between you and them, and how something may have, played, its course, or, played out to where it was or where it's at right now, to where if they not willing to do the work on themselves, then it's possible that your ancestors of the universe got them blocked from even approaching you or coming towards you on anything other than something 100. You know what I'm saying? 1,000. All right. I can't talk to you right now. I'm blocked. Okay? Please do what is best for your heart. Whether this is what they're saying, whether this is what your ancestors, the universe wants you to do, but do what's best for your heart. All right? The clarification of that was the Judgment in reverse. All right. Also, also Libra energy, right along with this Three of Swords. So this person, could be dealing with a lot of, regret, a lot of, um, being an inner critic of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Of how they, may have messed things up or couldn't have been a better person, when they needed to be, or didn't step up when they should have, or just you being, feeling some type of way that, you stayed as long as you did or some shit like that. But I'm not getting that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just reading the energy when it comes to the cards and the situation. All right, because when it comes to this person, they may have been confused with this judgment being in reverse, dealing with your crown. This person may have been confused as to, what's expected, or the things that they may have thought, would have, meant something at a time where it may not have been enough. It may not have been, you know what I'm saying, something that had any value. Whatever it was that they, felt like they needed to bring to the table or needed to be or have, they may not have felt like, or knew that they were not going to be able to rise to that occasion. But this is also, inner guilt too. This is somebody that has a lot of regret, a lot of guilt, for the way they may have, wasted your time, left you feeling about them, thinking about them now, the view or the image or the thoughts that you have about them now. You know what I'm saying? Like they blocked. And they dealing, they could be avoiding judgment, or they, feel some type of way that they are. Okay? But at the end of the day, this is about facing facts. And reason why they can't tell you the truth, the reason why they can't come clean with you air signs, is because there's some things that they know they gotta face the facts about, and they may not be ready to do that. They may not be able to do that. Right? But the Five of Wands was at the bottom of the deck. Leo energy. But they could be dealing with, a lot of dispute, a lot of conflict, you know what I'm saying, within themselves. It could have been, some cooperation that just wasn't going on. It wasn't being had. It may have been some back and forth. It may have been, just that lack of cooperating with you, when they knew what they needed to do. Even if it was something that you were telling them, or something they knew they could have been doing better and they didn't. It's a lot of dispute, a lot of, back and forth. And they could be dealing with some competition. They may have put you in some type of competition with them, competing with you and things like that, when you were really just the person that was triggering things about them that they needed to work on. Some of my air signs has awakened, or you got, in a path or in a connection with your person. And as a divine feminine, you may have triggered, some unhealed things about them that made them react in a very South Node-ish, unhealed manner. You know what I'm saying? Immature manner. And they may have competed with you and felt intimidated by you because you bring out things in them that they don't want to deal with, that they feel like they needed to be defensive about. Like they need to show you, you know what I'm saying, who got the power, or show you, what they can do, or try to hurt you because they feelings hurt, because you bring something out of them. Sometimes people say you bring the worst out of some people, you can bring the best out of them. But sometimes that person that triggers you is not there. A therapist can fucking trigger you. Okay? A therapist can trigger people because they make you talk about things that are very uncomfortable. And those are the people that tend, and therapists and counselors, those are the people that tend to try to help you manage your anger and your temperament when it comes to you having to face them situations, the thoughts and things like that, the emotions that come with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to ask for help, but don't, go bite the head off the messenger that the Most High God sent to you to help you get through them things, not to make you feel as though they better than you. That person may have been through way worse than you, but they ability to be able to help you is the reason why they're there. You know what I'm saying? Your therapist may have had issues of their own, but they ain't the one that need to talk to somebody. You came to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? But this is, conflict back and forth. This is lack of cooperation. This is battles. This is, you know what I'm saying, things that they battling with their own demons. Okay? And why they can't tell you the truth, why they can't, they can't make you no promises. They block, you know, a lot of things, and they can't talk to you right now. They battling, they dealing with a lot. Okay? Or maybe you have some issues or some dispute or some fights, some arguments and stuff that happen between you and this person that don't allow you any access to you anymore. All right? And they may be trying to avoid judgment, you know what I'm saying, by criticizing you or criticizing themselves, you know, for being the way they were and looking at how they were at that time. For some of you, it could have been a domestic situation. Somebody can't tell you the truth because they know whatever facing the facts mean. It causes a lot of, it has caused them to have to go through this with you and within themselves. This person battling demons, to be honest with you. I don't know, you know, if there's an air sign dealing with a Leo that they go back and forth with and shit like that, where they, you know, that had some fights, that had some arguments, that had, you know, some disputes and things like that, some competition that somebody done been in, they done put them in with other people, you know, and shit like that, where, you know, shit done popped off behind the scenes that maybe that person they was dealing with at that time and that connection that person don't know about. You know what I'm saying? They may have put somebody in, you know, man, listen. I'm just telling you, somebody put somebody in a competition and the person, this masculine energy may have had other women, this woman may have had other men, so take it how it resonate. But the people that got involved with each other had somebody else, some other people behind the scenes they got involved with, whether they did it at the time when they was together with you, or they had these people that they were entertaining and they really didn't get down with them until after you and this person had your fights and your arguments and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is somebody that now, you know, is criticizing themselves and in a lot of guilt for the fact that they may have been abusive. They may have been, you know, very argumentative. They may have, you know, put their hands on you or things like that. So take it how it is, and it's different for everybody. But I'm just giving you the different scenarios that is coming to me. All right. But the point is, it's like somebody having to live with the fact that they want to avoid judgment, you know, in any way they can because this person don't want to face facts. They don't want to face the facts. They don't want to face the reason why whatever they got going on and why something is the way it is present in the present moment where they can't talk to you right now. They block from you. Whether this is by, you know, some type of legal paperwork or this the fact that, you know, the universe, your ancestors and people that are still around that is living and not passed on that won't allow this person any access to you either. So take it how it resonates. Now moving forward. The next card that came out, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Okay? Whether this is you saying this or them saying this, but you got, I'm stuck in my visions of us together. So moving forward, you know, this person's going to be stuck in their head. Eight of Swords, you know what I'm saying? And not just Eight of Swords, they're going to be stuck in their head, you know, for a while with that Six of Cups, you know, having a lot of nostalgia, like thoughts and memories and stuff of you and them that y'all had together, good and bad. Next card. I can't stop thinking about you. Okay? Next card. Whether you can't stop thinking about this person or they can't stop thinking about you, what happens is a lot of times when they can't get you off their mind, you feel it too. Even if you don't want to think of this person, air sign, this person is thinking of you. Next card, what do you see in me? And I clarified this card with the tarot and the Wheel of Fortune came out. Okay, I think this is Piscean energy. But this person feels as though, you know, what do you see in me? If you want to know what this person sees in you, if they want to know what you see in them, if you want to know what this person sees in you, it's the fact that they see you as, you know, wish fulfillment. They see you as a good luck charm. They see you as they hit the lottery. I hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? I'm on top of the world. Next card. I can't make you happy. And I asked the question, Air sign, why can't they make this person happy? Why can't they make my air signs happy? You got the Seven of Pentacles that came out, Taurus energy. Clarify the Seven of Pentacles with the Two of Cups. Somebody could be born in 72. Somebody could be 27. Could be of significance as well. But again, Two of Cups, Cancer energy. All right. So you got, water out here with the Cancer, with the Four of Cups and the Two of Cups. And you got Libra out here with the the Three of Swords. And the Judgment in reverse and the Two of Swords here. That's in reverse. And you got Leo out here. You got fire out here as well. But like I said, yeah, you got this, the Seven of Pentacles out here with the Two of Cups. So somebody feel as though, even if they, feel like they can't make you happy, they may feel like there's a magnetic connection between you and them. Like this is something unified. It's something, some type of entanglement they done got themselves in. Or this is something that you and this person, had together that was like, maybe it didn't get to the next level. Maybe it felt like it was, a friends with benefits, or, it was just like a hit it and quit it kind of moment or something like that, But I feel like it was something that, maybe you had to choose yourself in a situation. Especially, if this person feels as though there was something between you and them. It's something between you and them, they feel like. And this is like a long-term thing, as far as the seeds you planting and stuff like that. Like they may not feel that they can make you happy in terms of something long-term and what your goals are. You know what I'm saying? I clarified the Seven of Pentacles with the Two of Cups, with the the Two of Pentacles with the Five of Pentacles. So this person, they juggling their finances. They may be, looking at something long term and things like that, but they could be making a decision. You know what I'm saying? But they, may have felt like, they struggling. You know what I'm saying? They could be going through, they could be, juggling their finances and things like that, making a choice, but yeah. Especially if this person feel like, they can't make you happy because they juggling, finances, they juggling people. They may be juggling, what they need to do for income and things like that when it comes to them prioritizing, making a decision. You know what I'm saying? Because they could be struggling right now. They could be feeling like, they, dealing with some insecurities and things like that with their finances and stuff like that. So what they want to offer you long term and things like that, planting the seeds and, watching you grow, watching, they're saying they watching you, you know what I'm saying? Because they can't help, not, this person may watch you online. They may, be divination spying. They could be getting cards pulled and things like that to try to see what's going on with you, but it's from a distance. Okay, but it's the thing of them having to figure out and make a decision, on how to, prioritize their time and how to balance out their energy right now, at a time where they may be struggling with that. They may be dealing with some insecurities, not just with their finances, but because they, may have been new, you know what I'm saying, just not getting into, or they may be dealing with that if they, when it comes to moving towards you. So if you want to know if this person seeing you, air sign, it's the fact that they see, hope. They feel they see, they feel like they hit the lottery. I ain't gonna even hold you. But I feel like they also know, this is them having to make a decision. It's like finding them damn, moments where you have all your ducks in a row, you have everything outlined for you that tells you that there's a turning point there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that blues song? I reached a turning point in my life. No more running around on you. Some I finally see the light. I reached the turning point. Reached the turning. Y'all know that damn song. If you don't, shit, it ain't for you. You just ain't Gen X. You know what I'm saying? But if you know blues, you know that song, Turning Point. I'm trying to remember who sing that song. I don't know if it's Johnny Taylor. Um, Mel Waiters. I don't know, child. But if you know the song, shit, drop it in the comments. But it's called Turning Point. But if you want to know what that person's seeing you, if you ever ask that person that question, or if they asking themselves that question, you know, it's the fact that this person sees you, or they see, you know, something different in you than they see in themselves. And sometimes air signs, you know, have a tendency, I ain't gonna say sometimes, there's air signs that have a way of being able to, you know, to feel and want to see the good in people. And sometimes there is good in people, but they have to see it in themselves. And a lot of times asking outside people what they see in them is not going to help them with what they see. Okay? Because a lot of times somebody can tell you you're beautiful, but you got to believe that. And most of the time, if you feel like you need somebody to tell you you're beautiful in order for you to know shit, you already got a long goddamn way to go with, you know, convincing yourself and being honest with yourself. Telling yourself the truth about how you actually look. You know, how you genuinely look to you. To where you don't need somebody to tell you that. Not being conceited, but just knowing that if you don't have nobody else in the world to tell you you're beautiful, you need to know that. If you have nobody else in the world available and at your disposal to tell you you handsome, you need to be the one to tell you that. That need to be a daily affirmation of yours. Not that you got to talk yourself into looking good, but because you know you do. And that's just from what you looking at yourself from within to the outside. You can always dress the outside up. You can always put the outside, you know, and put the outside into top tier perfection. You know what I'm saying? But the minute you open your mouth and you have ways and the way you move and the way you think and how you handle certain situations and yourself, it tells a whole lot without you even having to open your mouth. And just looking at how you move and how you handle things will start to take away from all that stuff on the surface. And now you got people breaking down the stuff they see on the surface as, you know, quick as they did when they saw it the first time, you know, when they was building you up and admiring you for what the surface even had, you know, going on. Now when they start taking away from the shit on the surface, now you stripped. Especially if somebody see you without all that and they looking past that. I see them clothes, I see that car, but I want to see what come out their mouth. I want to see how they respond to this. I want to see how they move on a daily basis. I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying, see and know that they that person, you know what I'm saying, that can take a licking and keep on ticking. You know what I'm saying? That ain't going to take a shot, you know, ain't going to give a shot and can't take one. You know what I'm saying? We ain't looking for that. But this is somebody now, you know, that 7 of Pentacles and 2 of Cups, like somebody is watching another person, but they, you know what I'm saying, they watching you build and mind your business. You know what I'm saying? And even if you got to choose yourself, it's the fact that, you know, loving on you is not something that, you know, this person is used to. They may be used to being validated. They may be used to, you know, validating other people. When it comes to them being with somebody, they may have to be the person that tell that person they look good, and they get to keep that person around because that person relies on them, you know, to be there and to, you know what I'm saying, get them that uplifting, that motivation. You know what I'm saying? They look for that validation in other people. Or maybe this person gives it to somebody else that's looking for it. But they making a decision. They prioritizing whoever this Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is. But they could be, you know, dealing with some insecurities. They dealing with some insecurities. And it probably be because they left you out in the cold. It may be because they chose somebody else over you. Or maybe, you know, because they didn't want to tell you the truth about, you know, what they had really going on and how they was moving. You know what I'm saying? The next card that came out is childhood trauma. Childhood trauma. And then the Tower came out with the Two of Swords in reverse. And the two of Swords in reverse talks about a lot of mental turmoil, but the Tower talks about trauma, talks about fear, and fear of change. And a lot of times, people do not want to deal with those things that are the center of, the root of why they going through what they going through, and how they see themselves, how they see other people, how they respond to certain situations. You know what I'm saying? So if, emotionally, if they had people that just had them, they may have gotten exposed to a lot. You know what I'm saying, with this Tower. Somebody may have had, their world shook when they were a child. You know what I'm saying? And it may have been things that they had to keep to themselves, and this could have had a lot to do with them being emotionally detached. You know what I'm saying? They may have, had to deal with that. But I feel like, when it comes to somebody past, they may have had some past childhood traumas and stuff like that, air sign, or this is you. This may have been something that you dealt with in the past. You know what I'm saying? But this is something that may have made somebody feel as though you emotionally detached because of that. Or they using it as an excuse or as a way to address like how you handle yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or the protection or the way that you cut people off and things like that. Okay? So when it comes to how you move and how somebody else sees you, you know what I'm saying? It's about them understanding the process of, what you have to do, and how not only, do childhood trauma, affect, just children, but it affects your inner child. Especially, for those that don't have a healthy way of dealing with those things, or anybody to talk to before they get to be such a, up in age as an adult, and they still, don't relate to, or don't find that vulnerability easy to talk about something to where they know how to control themselves instead of it controlling them. You know what I'm saying? So with the Tower out here, you got like I said, the Two of Swords in reverse. So, like I said, it talks about emotional detachment, but it also is a mental turmoil. Like somebody may have, had a lot of things that were said to them about them, constantly putting them down, belittling them and stuff like that, or, telling them they're not going to be this, nobody likes them, ain't nobody going to, that kind of stuff. But these were people that, who intuition was blocked. You know what I'm saying? They were not awakened. Even if they parents, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you deal with people that, do some reckless shit. It don't come with a manual. But a lot of times, a lot of kids is born to some dark-hearted, dark entities as parents. But you love them, you know what I'm saying? You love them. They're your parents, you know what I'm saying? And you got some kids, I knew a girl years ago that had two daughters. And the second daughter she had terrorized her first one to the point where she had to, take that child to therapy. That child was, just starting to walk in some, was starting getting old enough to go to Head Start. But by the time that child was able to walk and was a toddler and stuff like that, and being around her other older sister at the time, that child was biting and doing, I'm talking about like just from what her mama was saying, it was like a lot of dark stuff. To the point where she was scared to even put her in daycare because of what she felt like they would call her and talk about. That she would already know what's going on at her own home. And she wouldn't even let them sleep in the same room because it was just like she had to keep them separated. But mind you, she dealt with a lot of, paranormal stuff in a home that she had them in because it was a family house. You know what I'm saying? But it traumatized her. And by the time she had that second daughter, like she was living in that house at one time, while she was carrying that daughter. I don't know if, the energy in that home affected, that daughter before she was born. But when she was born, she was terrorizing her oldest little sister. which was, scary to her mom. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, when you the parent and you the one always spending time with them, nobody really can understand and explain exactly what you got going on but you, because you're the one dealing with it every day. But with this childhood trauma, air sign, I feel like, somebody's, emotional, or you could have some emotional detachment, or someone, may have said things and, made you feel a certain way, that kind of, made you detach. You know what I'm saying? And just be, have a lot of somebody like trying to confuse, your intuition, your way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Your spiritual gifts. Even when you were young, I feel like people were constantly trying to overload you with, a lot of negative things because they were dark. You know what I'm saying? They didn't understand. And they may have taken advantage of the fact that they didn't want you to really understand or grasp what was going on. But it's a lot of information that, a lot of things that people will say that really just push your crown, you know what I'm saying, and your intuition, the way you see things, and confuse it and make you, question it. And too much information and too much, of a lot of negative talk back and forth from different people, whether it's lovers, family members, classmates, so-called friends. It's just a lot. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? At the bottom of the deck, you got I'm obsessed with you. The next card, you are so different from everyone around me. I can't make a decision. See what I'm saying? Because you got the Two of Pentacles out here. But you got also, my life is a mess right now. Right behind that is drugs and alcohol. So this person could be dealing with some things, and trying to self-medicate and things like that, air sign. They could be, hanging out and, you know what I'm saying, just trying to keep themselves distracted from dealing with the things that they know, they may not have no control over, or they don't want to control it. You know what I'm saying? You got the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the tarot deck with the Sun. Like, this is new opportunities, new career, things that somebody wasn't able to give you being given back to you. You know what I'm saying? This being, restored. That's being given. What somebody can't give you, the universe is giving it back. They fulfilling all that. So for a lot of my air signs, you got things coming in, new opportunities, new cars, relocating, you know what I'm saying, whether it's out of the state, out of the country, or just out of that neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, a different, neighborhood, complex, whatever. But you got the Sun when it comes to the truth. You got the happiness, you know what I'm saying, that comes along with that, you know what I'm saying, as you gain in truth, as you, moving forward. And you got the Six of Cups. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. When it comes to somebody having nostalgia, they, you know what I'm saying, they see you as happy as they dealing with a lot of, things that keeps playing on their mind. The love we had stays on my mind. I think that's by Drew Hill. Yeah. The love we had stays on my mind. I think that's the name of it. But for the most part, air signs, like, for some of you, you dealing with somebody that's lonely. You know what I'm saying? And Four of Cups, they feel like they going through a lot. They got a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, maybe whatever mind games, you know what I'm saying, they played, or however, they let other things, when it came to expressing their emotions, didn't come out the way they thought it would. You know what I'm saying? And they could feel like they're going to be rejected. You know what I'm saying? You may have rejected them. You may have, you know what I'm saying, walked away. Three of Swords. You know what I'm saying? They could have broke your heart. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? You may be feeling lonely, since the separation or whatever. But at the end of the day, I feel like somebody, you're dealing with, they could, like I said, it could be a Cancer. With the Three of Swords out here in Libra. So, like I said, this reading is for my air signs, all right? So for some of you, you dealing with somebody that's lonely. Others of you, current energy. You could be, this could be the past or what something was going on, behind the scenes that somebody was dealing with when something, was over with this Three of Swords. You know what I'm saying? They could be dealing with some depression and things like that, some anxiety, some insecurities, but this is a missed opportunity, with this Four of Cups, especially when this person, could be doing some meditating and stuff like that now, but I doubt it, you know what I'm saying? And it could have been some things that this person just feels, at this point, for the most part, you may have been feeling bored and lonely and things like that since this separation. But I feel like somebody feels as though, people don't believe in them, and this could be you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe people didn't believe that you, would come out of, a Five of Pentacles. Maybe they didn't feel like, you would, rise above the ashes. Maybe they didn't see that phoenix, rising in you. But that's not for you. That's for them. Okay? But others of you, current energy, you got, somebody that feel like they blocked. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they can't promise you anything. They don't know why they can't tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk to you right now. You know what I'm saying? And mainly because this person blocked. But I feel like for some of you, like I said, this person could have been abusive to you. You could have been abusive to someone, air sign, possibly a Leo you went back and forth with, may have had a lot of arguments. Take it how it resonates. Whether this was with you, family members, or family got involved, because this is a Five of Wands. This is, you know what I'm saying, several people involved here. And it could be, a different, could be, a lot of different entities or spirits, you know what I'm saying, that this person is dealing with, different versions of themselves that they back and forth with about some of the things that they did, how they handled themselves, how they handled other people. You know what I'm saying? But it's important that you do what's best for your heart. And they know you're going to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's time for you to do that. But it's encouraging somebody to do what's best for your heart. Please do what's best for your heart. Because at the end of the day, this person may be struck with they may be guilt-stricken. You know what I'm saying? It could be, somebody, like I said, this not wanting to face exactly like why they under judgment. Because I'm also getting somebody possibly feeling like, it's not all their fault. I didn't do, how some folks be like, if it wasn't for them doing this, I wouldn't have did that. It's them. Okay? So I don't know if that's what you up to or that's what you've been doing, air sign, but yeah. But yeah, you got Judgment out here in Libra in reverse. So this could have been a low vibrational moment for somebody where they were down and out and, down on their luck as far as how they handle a situation, but it done landed them to be blocked and can't talk to this person now because of the Five of Wands. That was at the bottom of the deck when I was pulling this clarification card for this row. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what somebody can't give, the Most High God, if God won't do it, it just won't get done. You can ask everybody else and they can't come through. But if you ask the Most High God, like he said, you have not because you didn't ask. And like, I was raised, to say, don't ask me for shit if you ain't cleared your slate with me. If you got some things you need to tie up, you got some loose ends you need to do, you got some clothes you need to fold, you got some dishes you need to wash, you need to be making sure you got all that shit out the way before you come ask me anything. Because that no is probably going to come from the fact that you didn't do nothing for me and yourself and your house before you left to ask to even go out this damn house. So at this point, it's like if somebody can't promise you something, they can't give you that happiness that you deserve, the universe, the Most High God, and your spirit team, they're going to make sure you get it. And for some of you, you are already starting to get it. You know what I'm saying? But this person, they feel like they can't make you happy. They may feel as though, what you want long term and things like that, and the kind of connection that you want or the kind of connection they see you guys having, they may have to juggle, their finances, or they juggling you between, other people or whatever that they possibly left you out in the cold, for. You know what I'm saying? And they may have gotten it wrong. But they could have been dealing with some childhood trauma that kind of, got them in a situation where they haven't healed in a lot of areas. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to them expressing their emotions and knowing how to, give to certain situations and what not to give and how to have boundaries. Because that shit ain't even came out yet. All right, but I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully the message resonates with you in whatever level, on whatever part. Collective, this is a message for my air sign. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, I hope that it helps in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or you just get in it for the vibe. All right, love. You guys, make sure you hit that like, that subscribe button on your way out for me. And until next time, those of you that genuinely love me, know that I love you too. Mwah. Bye.